kings. Fire. And blood. Dreams didn't make us kings. Dragons did.
The threat of war looms.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome one, welcome all, as the day has finally arrived, folks. It is here, January 18th. The premiere of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms is just an hour and a half away, less than an hour and a half away now. And I must say, I have not been this excited for a new series in a very long time, probably since From. I don't think I've been this excited since From first premiered, way back in From season 1. That's how excited I am for A Night of the Seven Kingdoms based on everything we've seen. This show looks like it was beautifully made. It looks like it's following the source material very closely. I can't wait to see this adaptation. I really can. I think the show is going to be really, really good. So welcome, everybody. It's finally here. It is finally here. The long night is almost over. The long night is almost over. And what a long night it has been, right? What a long night it has been. But welcome, everybody. I hope you guys are looking forward to A Night of the Seven Kingdoms this evening and looking forward to hanging out over the next hour and a half or so while we kill some time and wait for episode 1 to be available. Episode 1 is airing at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which would be 7 p.m. for anybody who's on the West Coast. So we are, again, just a little less than an hour and a half away now. Can't believe it's here. Can't believe it's here. As Doc Hayes says, we're going back to Westeros. Hell yes. Hell yes. Indeed, Doc. Indeed. We are finally going back to Westeros. And we're going back to Westeros, I feel, with so much hope that this is going to be a really, really good show. Because again, House of the Dragon season 2 definitely had its ups and its downs, but some people weren't really too happy with the ending of the season. And then when we heard some of the stuff that came out after the season ended, in terms of the just complete breakdown of relationship between George R. R. Martin and Ryan Condal, which recently surfaced, and how the season was cut short, you start to see why maybe season 2 didn't feel super complete. So heading into A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, it's given me a lot of hope that this is going to be, the dive back into Westeros that we all need after House of the Dragon season 2. And hopefully House of the Dragon season 3 is going to be kick-ass. A lot of good stuff is about to be developed on House of the Dragon season 3. So I'm hoping that's going to be good too. But I have a feeling this is definitely going to be good, just based on everything we've seen so far. Looks phenomenal. This really does look like a phenomenally produced show and a great cast. But yeah, we are returning to Westeros, guys. We are returning to Westeros. Let's see who else we got in here. And welcome, Doc. Good to see you, my friend. We got Kiwi Skirt in the building. Welcome, Kiwi. Good to see you as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And of course, yes, if you guys have not already, join the Discord as well. There'll be tons of discussions, watch parties, tons of stuff that we'll be doing throughout House of the Dragon and throughout A Night of the Seven Kingdoms season. So dive into the Discord if you haven't already. We got Starlight CC in the house. What is up, Starlight? Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Big Dago's here. Westeros is back. Tis. Westeros is back. I think Westeros is indeed going to be back. And I got to say, I have not been this excited for a show in a long time. Everything about this looks like it's going to be really good and a very faithful adaptation. I'm super excited for the show. So yeah, I think Westeros is going to be back. I think so. We got Ando in the house. What is up, Ando? My pal. What is good? Good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. 2 more hours. Hour and a half now. Just an hour and a half now. What is up, Haymaker? Where are my hedge knights at? Yes, where are all the hedge knights? Let us know in the chat. If you are a hedge knight, throw that shield emoji in the chat. Or if you are a member of the channel, there are custom-made Dunk and Egg and House Targaryen emojis for all members. So yeah, let us know. If you are a hedge knight, represent. We got Jen the Teacher in the house. Welcome, Jen the Teacher. Good to see you. I see sunny skies. Hi, everybody. Welcome one, welcome all. Good to see everybody. Good to see everybody this evening. Got Bernie in the house. What is up? Not watched it yet. Have a viewing date with some friends. Book is amazing. That's awesome. I mean, there's nothing better than watching it in a group setting. So you know that I'm sure many people are familiar with the channel that kind of blew up during the original Game of Thrones series, the Burlington Bar series, where they kind of watch and they put the show on at the bar, and it's just a giant bar full of people reacting to it all at once. And sometimes that group setting can be fun. Me personally, I kind of, when I'm watching something for the first time, I kind of like watching it alone sometimes, just because I can pay attention a little bit better. I get into it a little bit more without kind of the background noise. But watch parties are fun too. There's nothing wrong with a watch party. So I hope you enjoy it. Hope you have a good time. And yeah, the book is amazing. I mean, these novellas are some of George's best writing, for sure. Some of his best writing. Jeremy bringing us through the long night. I'm trying. I am certainly trying to bring us through the long night. I mean, it's not me doing much, but we are here now, and I will take credit if that is what is necessary. So absolutely, I will absolutely take some credit if I have to. Long night is over, ladies and gents. Long night is over. Well, it will be over in just little over an hour now. Awesome, awesome. Got Asto in the house. Let's rock. Yes, let's rock indeed. Let's rock and roll. Let's rock and roll. Start this madness in the name of your king. And yes, we are back, says Enigma. Love it. Awesome. Awesome. Welcome one, welcome all. If I missed anybody, I am terribly sorry, but welcome to each and every one of you. Although I do see Kelly down there. Oh, I do see my partner, my brother, Lord Ravener, in the building. Definitely going to have to... Raven and I are going to, join up at some point and do some kind of stream on this together, because I know he's looking forward to it. I know he's going to be watching it. I think, the show does really look like it's got some good potential. I'm super excited for this. So Raven and I will work something out where we'll get him on here and we'll dive into some Westeros together. I know people have been missing Ravener. But yeah, awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Welcome, my friend. I hope you are ready. I hope you are ready. Is it premiering at 7 p.m.? It's premiering at 7 p.m. on the on the West Coast. If you are Eastern Standard Time, it will be 10 p.m. Eastern. So 10 p.m. Eastern here on the East Coast. I'm an East Coast guy. So 10 p.m. here on the East, 7 p.m. on the West. A little different than their normal playing time. Like usually Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon usually plays at that prime time spot, which is usually 9 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. Pacific. But this being a different show, definitely a much different show than House of the Dragon or Game of Thrones, certainly nowhere near as big in scale. They pushed it to the 10 o'clock hour. So 10 o'clock Eastern here on my coast and 7 p.m. over there on the West Coast. Yes. I need to make some popcorn. I got my hot and spicy popcorn. Well, there you go. I mean, if you're diving into Westeros, what better to have than some hot and spicy popcorn? Am I right? Get it. Get it. And we got a $4.99 super chat from West of Westeros. Well, thank you so much, my friend. Very much appreciate the $4.99. We have 3 seasons this year, right? And there's 7 Kingdoms, 1 and 2, House of the Dragon season 3. Well, from what I gather, they're filming A Night of the Seven Kingdoms season 2 right now, and that will be airing next year. It looks like they're planning to do 1 season of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms every year. So we'll be getting 6 episodes of this every year, at least for the next 3 years. 3 books are already adapted. George has already given Ira Parker his outline for like 10 or 12 more stories that he's planning on doing. The Winterfell one, and taking us all throughout Duncan Egg's life, all the way to Summerhall eventually, the tragedy of Summerhall. So even though there's only 3 books done, we could get a lot more than 3 seasons, just based on how really just a matter of how good this first season does, really. But from what I gather, we're getting this season 1 now. We're getting season 3 of House of the Dragon later on this summer. And then we'll get season 2 of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms next year. We're going to get a season every year. But that would be nuts. I mean, hell, I'm happy. 2 seasons of A Song of Ice and Fire in 1 year. Bring it on. I will take 2 seasons of A Song of Ice and Fire in 1 year. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not premiering where I live until 10 p.m. Yeah, I'm on the East Coast too. It's not, I don't have it until 10 p.m. Eastern. I mean, it's going to air at the same time everywhere. It's just a matter of what time zone you're in, what time it is, depending on what time zone you're in. But if you're on the East Coast here in the States, then yes, we'll have it at 10 p.m. If you're on the West Coast, you'll have it at 7 p.m. But same time everywhere, just different time zones. Yeah, same, Jeremy. Feels like forever since we visited Westeros. It does, right? It really does. It feels like it's been forever since we've dived into Westeros. I mean, this is one of the richest worlds that's ever been created. You know, it's made so well for TV when the TV's made well, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I can't wait. It does. It feels like it's been forever. It feels like it's been forever. Hedge Knight behind every hedge. Yep, Hedge Knight behind every hedge. I watch it alone. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, again, if I'm watching something for the first time, you know, sometimes watching it alone or watching it with just like one other person, that's kind of the same as watching it alone for me. Like I can watch it by myself or just with like one other person. But yeah, the group setting, like the big watch parties, I don't mind doing that, but I like to watch it by myself first. But that's just me. That is just me. But we shall see. We shall see. So I hear the tone is a bit different for the show. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be a much different tone from what we've gotten in Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. A much smaller show. I mean, House of the Dragon follows the High Lords and, you know, their game for the Iron Throne. This is a much different show. This is following Dunk and Egg. Dunk is your typical underdog story, your quintessential underdog in Westeros. You're going to see him really kind of come from nothing and work his way up through the ranks to eventually becoming one of the greatest knights in the history of the Seven Kingdoms. But he comes from very humble beginnings. He's from flea bottom at the end of that, you know, for crying out loud. So he raises himself up from nothing. It's a true rags to riches story, very kind of lone wolf and cub Westeros style between, you know, the dynamic that develops between Dunk and Egg. You know, I always try to kind of compare it to not exactly the same, but a little bit like if Arya and the Hound had their own spinoff, trotting through Westeros, entering tourneys and getting in trouble. You know, not exactly the same as that, but in the same vein as that, I guess you could say. But yeah, it's going to have a much different tone. There's going to be a lot more comedy. Like this is going to have a lot more comedy. I know Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon has some comedy every once in a while with their comedic characters. You know, like Bronn's always super funny with the stuff that he's saying. Tyrion's always super funny with the stuff he's saying. Daemon can be funny sometimes on House of the Dragon, depending on what he's saying. But this is going to have like some real good comedy in it. And I think we see a little, you know, hint of that in some of the trailers that we've seen, just with, you know, Dunk. He's Dunk the Lunk, thick as a castle wall, as Sir Oliver Pennytree used to call him, because he's at times very thick-headed. Although I did see Ira Parker recently come out and say that he didn't make Dunk as dumb as he is in the books here on the show, I guess. And he talks a little bit about making Egg, you know, a little bit smarter, a little bit more witty, a little bit more quippy, kind of, but remained very faithful to the characters for the most part, though, from what I can gather. But yeah, much different tone. This is going to be a totally different tone from House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones. Much smaller, much more condensed, much more character-driven. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is going to be, whereas House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones are these giant spectacles. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be good. I think people are going to really enjoy it. If you liked Game of Thrones season 1 and the kind of tone that had, where it wasn't all these big action set pieces going off, it was just good writing, good characters, and good dialogue. If you liked that kind of vibe, you're probably going to enjoy A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. It's a similar kind of vibe. Again, not exactly the same, but similar. But we'll see. We shall see. Are you doing a watch party tonight? I can't do a watch party tonight, unfortunately, but starting next week, I am. We're going to do watch parties right here on the channel. I'll start with my pregame show, and I'll just keep it live when the episode starts, and we can all watch live together if that's something some people want to do. I have been getting a few requests for watch parties. Unfortunately, I can't do it tonight, but starting next week, definitely will do that if that's something people want to do. Absolutely. First episode, 40 minutes. From what I gather, the first episode is around 40 to 43 minutes. Episode 2 is around 35 minutes. Most of the episodes are around, 32, 33 to 40 minutes, which again isn't as long as usual HBO episodes, but it's just as long as an episode of like regular primetime television. Like a lot of people don't realize how much commercial time is on primetime television. Like you get a show that's on with commercials, you're really only getting around 40 to maybe 45 minutes of actual show. The rest is all commercials. So while these might appear super short, it's kind of basically the same length of your average episode that you would see on regular television without the commercials, basically. It's kind of the same length. So I'm happy with them. I don't mind getting these 30, 35-minute episodes, especially if we're going to be getting seasons every single year. I don't mind the 6-episode format if we're going to get it every single year, as opposed to only getting 8 episodes every 2.5 years, really. So at first I wasn't too thrilled about the 6-episode thing, but I'm a little more optimistic on it now, I guess. Little more. Just a little bit. I don't know. I guess the prospect of getting a season of this every single year is kind of exciting, even if it is only 6 episodes. So I'll take it. If it's good, anyway. Has to be good. I did a reread of the first book this week. I'm ready. Awesome. And yeah, you're ready to go. Yeah, this first season is going to cover the events of the first book, The Hedge Knight, which it's titled. Again, 6 episodes is really kind of all you really need. I mean, I suppose if you really wanted to stretch it, you could stretch something like this to 7 or 8 episodes, maybe, but it's not a super, super long story. These are novellas at the end of the day. They're not books. They're not big tomes like the main series. So 6 episodes should be sufficient to tell the story for The Hedge Knight, I think. We'll see. Yeah, Summerhall on screen sounds amazing. Cannot wait. That'll be interesting. I mean, if they really can manage to get all the way to Summerhall and tell the entire story of Dunk and Egg, which spans the course of decades, obviously at some point they're going to have to recast Egg. They might have to recast Egg multiple times, actually, based on, how much time jumps we get in between the novels that George is doing beyond the 3 he's already done. So if they can manage to get all the way to Summerhall, yeah, there'll be some recastings. They could probably keep Peter Claffey for the entire thing, age him up a little bit as they get towards the later seasons. But obviously, yeah, they'd have to recast for Egg at some point. But yeah, I would love to see them make it all the way to Summerhall. I would love to see them be able to tell the entire tale of Dunk and Egg from start to finish. That would be great. That's the ideal ending. Will we get that far? I have no idea, but I would love to. I would love to see them get that many seasons, for sure. Oh, it's 3 a.m. here, says Dragar Targaryen. Oof, 3 a.m. Awesome. I mean, hell, if anything's worth staying up until 3 a.m. for, I think it's going to be this. I would certainly wait up until 3 a.m. if I had to, for sure. All right. Let's see what else we have here. Scrolling down. Yeah, like Brienne Pod. Very similar to a kind of Brienne Pod kind of style. Absolutely similar to that as well. Definitely. Yeah. I wonder if Melisandre will make a cameo. A lot of people were wondering that during House of the Dragon as well, because technically Melisandre is alive during the events of a lot of these prequels, if her age is true, which it seems to be at least confirmed on the show version that she is that old. So I don't think so personally. I doubt we will see Melisandre, but I mean, who knows? Anything's possible. I didn't think we would see White Walkers in House of the Dragon. Like that's the last thing I thought we would see in House of the Dragon. So I guess really anything's possible. But either way, the long night is over.
For the night is dark and full of terrors. For the night is dark and full of terrors.
Good old Melisandre. Yeah, I'm not counting on it. I don't think we'll see her, but who knows? You never know, I guess. But yeah, if I was a betting man, I'd say no. We got Wolf Spear, who just gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Wolf Spear, for the gift of the 5 memberships. Very much appreciate that, my friend. That is incredibly generous of you. Awesome stuff. Let's see. It looks like Jen is now a member. Rolo Colo is now a member. Ray is now a member. Debbie Ebby is now a member. And White Noise Studios is also now a member. Welcome one, welcome all. Thank you again so much, Wolf Spear, for the gift of the 5 memberships. That is incredibly generous of you, my friend. And you know what that means. I owe you a whoa. I'm going to have to start coming up with something better than a whoa that fits A Song of Ice and Fire a little bit better. Like, I don't want to shame people, but I might have to start throwing out the shame. Maybe it's a little more fitting for a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. But thank you. Thank you so much, Wolf Spear. Very much appreciate that, my friend. Very much appreciate that. I demand Sir Duncan Ditties, says the Soul Taker. Hey, I hear you. I feel you. I support your demand. Let's see what else we got here. And let us know in the comment section. I mean, I'm sure some of you, those of you that are familiar with some of the characters and some of the stories, let me know in the comments. Let us know. What character are you looking forward to seeing on screen the most? I mean, the Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, the Hedge Knight in particular, has so many rich and very awesome characters. And, you know, I've wanted to see all of these characters on screen for a very long time. But what characters are you looking forward to seeing on screen the most? Which characters are you most excited about? Let me know in the chat. Who do you guys want to see? For me, it's Sir Lionel. Sir Lionel's a huge fan favorite. I think Sir Lionel's going to be a huge fan favorite. He's such an interesting character. And one thing I'm really looking forward to is the friendship and dynamic that's going to be developing between Dunk and Sir Lionel. These two characters, I think, are going to have a really, really good arc. I think he's going to be a huge fan favorite, Lionel, for many seasons to come. And you know, their storyline is going to go into some very interesting places later on. And I can't wait to see that even more, which I won't spoil for anybody who doesn't know. But I really am looking for, as much as I really want to see the dynamic between Dunk and Egg, obviously it's their show. I'm sure they're going to have a great dynamic back and forth. I'm probably looking forward just as much, if not a little bit more, to the scenes between Dunk and Sir Lionel. For some reason, I cannot wait to see these two on screen. I think they've got just the perfect actors to play both of these characters. They seem like they have a ton of on-screen chemistry. I think these two are going to be really, really good together. Really, really, really good. And thank you for that. Appreciate that. PM helped me with most of it. My other co-host, PM Philosophy. And if those of you haven't checked out her review of 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple yet, definitely check that out on her channel. She did a nice spoiler-free review of The Bone Temple. And I know she's going to be doing a much spoiler one soon, too. But thank you. Appreciate that. I have a flea bottom accent. There's been a lot of incredibly, interesting characters that have come from Flea Bottom. You look at Dunk, you look at Sir Davos, Carl Tanner from Gin Alley. There's been so many fucking awesome characters that have come from Flea Bottom. Flea Bottom might be the slums, but it breeds some lively individuals. That's for sure. We got Ty in the house. What is up, Ty? Good to see you, my friend. Wasn't initially that excited about the show, but when I see how excited you are, I read the book. Now I'm excited to see what I imagine will come out. Oh, awesome! That's awesome, man. I'd love to hear that. Yeah, I am genuinely excited. I am genuinely really excited from this show. Just based on everything that I'm seeing, all of the interviews that I've read and listened to from Ira Parker and George R. R. Martin and the cast and crew and all the trailers and behind the scenes stuff they've put out, everything really looks like they put together a phenomenal show and a very faithful adaptation here. And even George has been singing its praises. in terms of, walking onto set and feeling like he stepped right into his book. And again, just looking at the trailers alone, it looks like they nailed the aesthetic of this world, which is much different and far removed from, the hallways of King's Landing and the Red Keep. This is a much different, muddier, dirtier show taking place mostly predominantly at the tourney ground. So it seems like they've just really managed to capture that essence of the story so well. Like, it feels like a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. It feels like the Hedge Knight. It doesn't feel like House of the Dragon or Game of Thrones. It's got its own feeling. And the characters are phenomenal characters. I do genuinely think people are really going to enjoy these characters and these stories. They're fun. They're some of George's favorite for a reason. They are really good stories. What is up, Ronan? Good to see you, my friend. Welcome, welcome. I hope you are ready. We are getting closer and closer now, ladies and gents. We are just 1 hour away now. 1 hour away from a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Yeah, I love me some good dialogue. And that's the thing. I mean, as everything is really set up for this show to be a massive, massive hit. Really, the only thing that could derail it is if by some miracle it had bad acting. But it doesn't look that way at all. You look at all the trailers and everything looks like it was done incredibly well. The acting, the writing, the dialogue, all of it looks freaking great. Again, I'll be so surprised if most people don't like this. I think most people are going to love it. Of course, you're never going to please everybody. That's just how the world is, especially the internet. But I think the majority of people who watch this show are going to like it. But that's just my personal opinion. What did you think about the Bone Temple, bro? I haven't finished it yet. I haven't seen all of the Bone Temple yet. I'll probably watch the Bone Temple after watching A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. I'll probably finish it tonight after I'm done watching this. I haven't seen all of the Bone Temple yet, but what I have seen so far, I've really enjoyed. I haven't seen a lot of it, but I've really enjoyed what I have seen. I'm down for a good watch party. Yeah, me too. We'll definitely, I can't do it this week, but just because I can't. But next week, we can do a watch party if that's what people want to do. Yeah, I'll do the pregame show like I usually do, and that will lead right into the watch party if that's what people want to do. I'm totally down for that. Absolutely. I feel like Melisandre has many opportunities to make cameos with how old she is. Absolutely. I mean, it's a possibility. Again, with how old she is, it is possible for her to pop up at some point. I mean, she was alive at some point in the world during these events. Was she in Westeros? Probably not. But she was supposedly alive during all of this stuff. So I don't know. We shall see. I know, I'm right there with you, Sunny Skies. Me too. I miss the old days when we got 10 episodes every single year, too. Not just getting 10 episodes every 2 years. We were getting 10 episodes of quality television of Game of Thrones every single year for 5-6 years until the show started cutting down the episodes and the quality started to dip. But for a while there, they were producing just at the very least, the first 4 seasons are some of the best seasons of television I've ever seen in my life. And we were getting 10 episodes every single year like clockwork. We never had to wait 2 years in between seasons of Game of Thrones, not until we got to season 7 and 8. So yeah, I miss the old days. Me too. I very much miss the old days when we would get 10 or even more than 10 episodes a year. You look back to, shows like Lost. Lost had 20, 24 episodes a season. It came out every single year. Shows like Supernatural, Sons of Anarchy, all these shows had 10, 16, 20 episodes, and they came out every single year. So yeah, overall as a whole, TV production has gotten a lot slower. It just simply has. But we'll see. Yeah, Lone Wolf and Cub, yes. Like Mandalorian, hope the show works as well. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Mando, similar vibe as Mando too as well. Definitely. I think it's going to work. I do. I do think the show is going to work. It feels like they got a really good cast. It seems like they have a really good showrunner in Ira Parker. Everything that I've seen from Ira Parker has just given me even more confidence that he's the right person helming this show up. He seems very dedicated to the story. He seems very dedicated to producing a faithful adaptation. One of the things he has always been saying throughout this whole thing, what George says matters the most to him. He's doing this show for George. So I love hearing that. I love hearing how dedicated he is to create something that is George's story and not try to make it his own. Because again, we've all seen the stuff that's been going on lately between George R. R. Martin and Ryan Condal. Their relationship has completely deteriorated to the point where Martin says it's not even rocky, it's abysmal. The relationship between George R. R. Martin and Condal now, to the point where George doesn't even submit his notes for House of the Dragon to Ryan directly. He has to submit them to HBO, and then HBO gives them to Ryan. Like, they're not even on speaking terms anymore, George and Ryan. And here, you see the complete opposite. So I'm hoping it stays that way, because George and Ryan started off the exact same way as George and Ira are starting off. They were very much on the same team and on the same page for season 1, and season 1 was phenomenal. So yeah, you hate to see that relationship break down the way it did, but George certainly wasn't pulling any punches. He let everybody know exactly how he felt. I imagine he'll probably get a little bit of a talking to by HBO for that, but it gets to a point where, you kind of feel like you got to speak your mind. And I totally understand that, totally understand that. But yeah, looks like that relationship has really deteriorated to the point where they're not even speaking. So we'll see. Now, this is a cameo I'm hoping we'll see throughout the story. We might see some Maester Aemon. Absolutely. Again, it is Egg's brother. So I'm hoping we will see a younger version of Maester Aemon at some point. Again, depending on all the seasons that they're going to be doing, we will. All about the Laughing Storm. It's all about the Laughing Storm, right? Again, he's my favorite character from these stories. I love Dunk, and I love Baelor Breakspear too. Baelor Breakspear is a very close second favorite character in the Hedge Knight, followed by Dunk third. But for me, Sir Lionel's my favorite character. I love his attitude. I love his armor. I just love House Baratheon in and of itself. And that's another thing. We're going to see, get a nice little glimpse, at least, as to where Robert Baratheon gets some of his swagger from. Robert Baratheon wasn't the only Baratheon that was like that. That is how Baratheons are. They have that. They got that aura to them, And we're going to see that here with Lionel. You're totally going to see where Bobby B gets his swag from when we get a little bit more from Sir Lionel. You're going to see. You're going to see where he gets his swag from. So yeah, I love House Baratheon. It's one of my favorite houses. They've got some of the coolest characters, even going all the way back to the Conquest and Oris Baratheon, and everything between him and Argilac and how he took Storm's End, that epic freaking fight outside of Storm's End. The Baratheons are just freaking awesome. Baratheons are a freaking awesome. Awesome bunch. Let's see what else we got. We got Jackson Perez for $4.99. Thank you so much, Jackson. Very much appreciate that, my friend. Thank you so much. Happy to be back, Jeremy. Your channel always gets fun around Thrones time. I try. We certainly try. I mean, A Song of Ice and Fire is what the channel was originally built on. I have since started, branching into other stuff. I do cover tons of different shows, but A Song of Ice and Fire is always going to be at my core. It's always going to be my favorite to cover, along with From. It's anything A Song of Ice and Fire and From. Those are always going to be my two favorites to cover. But yeah, it feels great. It feels great to be diving back into Westeros, and I'm so glad to see all of the old faces here hanging out. Welcome, guys. Westeros is back, everybody. Westeros is back. But thank you so much, Jackson, for the $4.99, and I owe you a shame bill.
Shame.
Thank you for the $4.99. Very, very much appreciate it. Very much appreciate it. I wanted to see Aerion's armor. Yes, I learned more in 3 seconds from that trailer than I did in 3 paragraphs from the book. yeah, Aerion's got some very, very memorable armor, and I feel like I feel like they did it justice in the adaptation. You know, obviously there's always that kind of artistic interpretation. Now, you know, it's very easy to make this, you know, armor very colorful like it is in the graphic novel. But when it comes to translating that onto screen, sometimes more muted colors just work a little bit better. So you see that the horse still has the kind of fiery Targaryen armor on its, you know, on its face, but it's just not like, you know, it's not red. It's just kind of steel. But yeah, you know, Aerion's got notoriously some very, very badass armor, and that's the thing. House Targaryen always has the best armor. You know, you look at I don't know, although the Baratheons got some good armor too. I must say the antler look is pretty badass. But yeah, he looks good. I think Aerion looks pretty good. I think they got a pretty faithful adaptation of his armor, and I'm looking forward to seeing it in action. At this point, looking forward to see it in action. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, I want to hear everybody's predictions on part 3. I'm waiting. On okay, the predictions for part 3 of the Bone Temple. You got it. Yeah, that'll definitely be in there too. Once I'm done watching it, yeah, I will have my video up on the channel diving into everything the Bone Temple. Again, what I've seen so far, I'm really enjoying. I'm also excited to see what the intro music, yes, and visuals will look like. Wonder if the opening intro will be done. Well, what I'm wondering, I don't know if they announced this or not, but what I'm wondering if we're going, I don't know if we're going to get, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, chaps, I'm sure one of you will know, but I believe they said something a while back that they're not going to do like a long opening intro like they did for House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones. I think they're going to do something a little bit smaller and shorter. Like a title sequence, I think. I think it's going to be like a medieval tapestry title sequence, you know, title card, I think they're going to do. I don't think they're going to be doing like a full-on intro like they usually do for the shows, just because it's a lot smaller show, I guess, and it's a lot, you know, shorter show. It's only 30 to 40 minutes an episode. So I think I remember reading they're not doing a long intro for this, but we will find out if I'm right or wrong in 50 minutes. But I think I remember reading that there's not going to be a long intro. We shall see. We shall see. You're doing a streaming party for Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I might, if I can go live after I'm done watching it tonight, I might do a live after show. If not, I'm going to be doing it tomorrow night on Monday night. 100%, if not tonight, tomorrow night. And next week, starting next Sunday, I'll be doing these live pregame shows and live watch parties. It'll lead right into the live watch party where, you know, we'll probably do similar format as to what we did for the From watch parties, where as soon as it goes live, we all hit play at the same time and watch it together. But, you know, just because a few people have been requesting watch parties, and I'm totally down for that. I definitely don't mind doing that. So starting next week, we're probably going to start doing the pregame show like we did tonight, leading right into a watch party, and then a discussion afterwards. All 3, all wrapped in one. One more hour. That's right. One more hour, 50 minutes, 49 minutes away from A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. 49 minutes away. I don't have a particular person I'm wanting to see. Just want to be back in Westeros. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love that. Love that. Let's see. For me, as someone who doesn't read the books, I'm just excited to see the show. Oh, awesome! If it's good, it's good. No comparison, and that's great. I mean, you know, people that are going in and that haven't read the book, I imagine you're probably going to have just as good, if not even a better time, not knowing what's coming around the corner. It's all just, you know, you can just enjoy the story, not knowing where it's going to go. So that's awesome. Part of me almost wishes I haven't read the book so I could have that same experience too, and just not know what's coming around the corner. So yeah, awesome. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, this is going to be one of those shows that book readers and non-book readers are really going to love. You definitely don't need to read the books to watch the show. You don't need to ever read the books to watch anything, really. Just enjoy it for what it is. But yeah, part of me almost wishes I could erase the Hedge Knight from my memory so I could go and clean. I love that. Yeah, Martin been snapping. Yeah, he's been letting people know how he feels. Again, that interview he just recently did with the Hollywood Reporter, whoo, George, he was not pulling any punches. He let it all fly. And he usually doesn't go that far. Like usually if you read between the lines with George, you can usually kind of tell where he lands on something. You can usually kind of tell if you know what to look for. If you read enough of his blogs, you get a sense of of his writing, and you kind of see a little bit. But this no interpretation fucking necessary. He just went ham. And yeah, it was crazy to see him do that. Haven't seen him do that before, but hey, I respect it. I respect it. Speak your mind if you want. But yeah, speak your mind, but also finish them damn books. Yeah, he's got a lot of writing to read, a lot of writing left to do. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, the twist in the book blew my mind. I had no clue. There's the one, if I remember the first time I read A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, like it broke my heart when I saw one certain reveal, because it was a character I really, really, really freaking liked. He's super fucking badass. Like he steps up, and you see what happens to him. It's so tragic. And I remember the first time I read that scene, I was fucking gutted. I was gutted because it was one of my favorite characters. And that's all I'll say. I won't spoil it for anybody. But yeah, not everybody's going to make it. Not everybody's going to make it out of these seasons, for sure. There will be some casualties. Cersei deserved it. Cersei deserved it. Cersei deserved that and worse, as far as I'm concerned. Cersei deserved that. And I feel like Cersei got off light. Just having a building kind of fall on her and crush her instantly, she got off light. She's lucky, I think. Yeah, we'll see. We shall see. But we are getting closer and closer now, ladies and gents. We are just 45 minutes away now. 45 minutes away from A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. All right, let's take a look at some of these stills now. These have been out, for a few days already, but they are relatively new. At least the newest stills that they did come out with. So let's take a look at some of these. Now, love that we're going to be getting some Arlen of Pennytree. Like, the Dunk and Egg story, the novel, it starts with the death of Sir Arlen. Like, you get a little bit in some, like, flashback sequences. Whether if you read the comic or the full novella, you'll see some, like, flashback sequences. And Dunk is always thinking about Sir Arlen. It's like he's always has Sir Arlen on his mind. Like, what would a true knight do? Sir Arlen taught me to be a true knight. He always wants to honor that. But I love that we're actually going to see some Sir Arlen and actually see some of that past between Dunk and Sir Arlen. I would love to see, I wouldn't even mind seeing how Sir Arlen first finds him and plucks him out of the, the streets in Flea Bottom. But I'm glad that we're getting Sir Arlen, even if it's only flashback scenes. I'm glad that we're getting some Dunk and Sir Arlen scenes where the story's not just completely starting with him dead and we never get to see him. So I like that the show's doing that. And that's what's great about a show. You have characters like a Sir Arlen, like some of these more secondary characters who you can flesh out a little bit more in some cases when you're doing an adaptation like this. So I'm glad we're going to be seeing some Sir Arlen. Absolutely love that. And then, of course, right after that, we have this awesome shot. I love this. This is one of my favorite shots that I've seen out of all of the shots that they've released. We got this awesome shot of Dunk carrying Sir Arlen and getting ready to lay him to rest with the beautiful tree and, the horses in the background. Sweetfoot, Chestnut, and Thunder. Love that shot. Absolutely love that shot. Here we get a nice shot of the dragon puppet show, and it looks like they've upgraded their dragon puppet show quite a lot. At least if you read the comic book, the graphic novel, you see the puppet show in there. It's very small, super small, regular puppet show. But here they've gone full on Serwyn of the Mirror Shield with this puppet show. And I love that. I love that it's not only a huge, giant puppet show performance, but I love that they're telling the tale of Serwyn of the Mirror Shield, or at least it looks like they're telling the tale of Serwyn of the Mirror Shield. Because if we see in some of the other shots, we see that he's got a shield that does look like it is made of silver. And we also see him kind of ducking behind it, getting blasted by fire. So it looks like here it is. It looks like they're doing an on-stage adaptation of the legend of Serwyn of the Mirror Shield. So that's pretty interesting. I like that. That not only is it cool for book readers who have, an appreciation for the deeper lore, but it also shows me that Ira Parker also has that same appreciation for some of the deeper lore within A Song of Ice and Fire to throw in this Serwyn of the Mirror Shield kind of performance. At least that's what I think it is. I think this is an adaptation play of Serwyn of the Mirror Shield. Very famous story from the Age of Heroes when a knight named Serwyn famously faced down a dragon with nothing but a shield made of a mirror and a sword. He famously crept closer and closer towards the dragon, hiding behind the shield so the dragon could only see its own reflection until he got close enough to strike. Probably not a true story. I mean, like a lot of the stories from the Age of Heroes, a lot of them have probably been exaggerated and changed or outright just fabricated over the years, especially considering there weren't really many cases of dragons in Westeros back then. But it's a fun story, so it's just nice to see that Ira Parker has a finer appreciation for some of the deeper Song of Ice and Fire lore. That's pretty cool. I like seeing that. It tells me he respects the source material. Let's see what else we got. We got West of Westeros for $4.99. Thank you so much, West of Westeros for the $4.99. I want Arya Stark going West of Westeros series. Have her meet all the mythical creatures east of Essos. Well, West of Westeros, you might actually be getting what you want. There has been talk about that. They recently just talked about doing a potential sequel to Game of Thrones. Now that the Jon Snow series has kind of fallen through, and Kit Harington has come out recently and said that he's done. He's not going to play Jon Snow ever again. I mean, will that change at some point if they offer him enough money? Maybe. But we're recently finding out that the Jon Snow spinoff series, the reason why HBO didn't go forward with it was apparently because it was going to end with Jon Snow dying over his guilt because of what he did to Daenerys. He couldn't get over his guilt over what he did to Daenerys, and he ends up dying at the end. And apparently HBO didn't like that storyline, so they didn't go forward with the Snow series. That's the rumor right now. That's what I've been hearing recently. But who knows? Who knows what will happen? But they are talking about a sequel, a Game of Thrones sequel, and Arya is probably the prime candidate that they would do something like that with. At the very least, she'll probably be in it. So who knows? You might get that. You might get what you want. Yeah, I love that they added that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. If you're talking about the Servant of the Mirror Shield, then yeah, absolutely. Good stuff. Very, very good stuff. I thought Jaime was going to choke her. Honestly, that would have been a way better ending. And that's another thing. Jaime his whole redemption arc kind of just completely fell by the wayside when he kind of goes back to Cersei. Now, I get what they were kind of going for. At the end, Jaime realized that it's you and me versus the world. I get it. I get what they were going for. But I just feel like it kind of ruined his storyline too. I feel like him going back to King's Landing to kill her would have been a much better ending. But yeah, who knows? We shall see. I thought Jaime was going to kill Cersei. A lot of people did. A lot of people thought either Jaime or Tyrion were going to kill Cersei. Some people even thought Arya was going to. I knew Arya wasn't going to. The second we see Arya and the Hound leaving for Winterfell and heading down to King's Landing, the second you hear Arya saying, "I'm going to King's Landing to kill the Queen," that was the moment where I knew it definitely wasn't going to be Arya, just for the fact that they put that line out there. I knew it was going to I had a feeling it was going to be one of those things where the Hound kind of turns her away, and that's exactly what happened. And I actually liked that scene. I actually didn't mind that scene. I feel like the dynamic between Arya and the Hound, that was a really, really fun dynamic in the show. And the Hound kind of saving Arya at the end there and kind of saving her from throwing her life away. I didn't mind that. I thought that was actually a really good scene. But I had a feeling that's exactly how it was going to play out as soon as she mentioned it. So at that point, yeah, I was hoping it was going to be either Jaime or Tyrion. But nope, it was a rock. It was a rock. Killed by a rock. Killed by a boulder. Killed by a building falling on you. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I want to see Aegon's Conquest series. There's been talk about that as well. They're recently talking about which avenue to take the Aegon's Conquest. Either 3 big Dune-sized movies, 3 big Dune-sized feature films, or a series. That's what HBO has recently been mulling over. Which route do they go for Aegon's conquest? Because remember, Mattson Tomlin, he's been quietly working on a script for Aegon's conquest for well over a year now. I have no idea how much he has done, but I have to imagine he has a good amount done if they're already talking about potentially moving forward with either a trilogy or a series to do Aegon's conquest. I would rather see a series. Personally, I always prefer series over movies, but if they were to do a trilogy of films, that could be interesting too. But I think a show is just always better. A show just always has more time to flesh out characters and to flesh out storylines, so things don't feel rushed. I would hate for them to do Aegon's conquest and for it to just look like a trilogy of movies of Aegon just decimating everything. There's ways to make it interesting where it doesn't just look like a one-sided slaughter, like the Dornish storyline, introducing some kind of strife in between the dynamic between Aegon, Rhaenys, and Visenya, where Rhaenys and Visenya rivals, where they potentially rivals for trying to provide an heir to Aegon first. There's a lot of ways you could add some drama into it where it's not just a one-sided slaughter. Because that's one thing I hear some people say when they talk about Aegon's conquest. They feel like it's kind of just going to be boring because it's going to be a one-sided slaughter. But that's not true. There's plenty of ways to make an Aegon's Conquest series very intriguing beyond just the battles. There's plenty of ways to do that. Just got to have the creativity. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. We shall see what happens with that. Yeah, maybe my Nymeria and the Thousand Ships. Well, we are going to be getting some animated Game of Thrones shows as well. They did recently talk that they had like 6 or 7 different A Song of Ice and Fire animated shows in development. The Corlys Velaryon spinoff series, that's going to be an animated series now. It was going to be live action at one point, but now I guess they're going to do an animated Corlys spinoff. But yeah, some of these other ones that they have been teasing, like the Nymeria Thousand Ships one, the ET one, I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing them go the animated route for some of these. I would not mind some animated A Song of Ice and Fire series if it's well done. It's got to be a well done animated series, but I wouldn't mind that. Is Jamie Lannister going to have to choke a bee? Maybe. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, the cool thing about this lore is it's just real history about five. Half of it really happened the way we were taught in school. Yeah, well, that's the thing. When you look at Fire and Blood, that's the argument a lot of people make, that it's not 100% accurate history. You have, different versions of, it's the same events that are happening at the end of the day, just different versions of how those events happened. But a lot of the outcomes are kind of similar in Fire and Blood. It's just kind of different ways to get to that outcome that it, kind of differs. But yeah, here with the Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, the Hedge Knight, it's not really like it's kind of open to interpretation. The story is the story, and that's it. And it's already been written. All 3 of them have already been written. Yes, I know they're probably planning on doing more than 3 seasons. And, George R.R. Martin has already shared his outline for some other seasons of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms that he's planning on writing with Ira. So at some point, this show is going to surpass the books. That's another thing. Just like Game of Thrones, this show will eventually surpass the books. There's only 3 books out. They're going to do 1 season for each book. So as of right now, we have 3 seasons, and that's 3 years. They're going to be doing a season of this every year. So at some point after season 3, the show is going to surpass the books. But again, as long as Ira and George are kind of working close together, and Ira's taking George's outlines for the future storylines, I'm sure they can pull it off very nicely. These are much shorter, self-contained stories, probably a lot easier to adapt than the big sprawling epics like House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones. So I'm not as nervous of this show going past the books as I was when Game of Thrones was going past the books. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We shall see what happens. But here we are, folks. We are just 30 minutes away now. 30 minutes away from A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms hitting our screens. Just 30 freaking minutes, guys. And it's going freaking down. It is going down. Man, I can't wait. I have not been this excited for a show in a very, very long time. Okay, let's see. The rest of these stills, let's see. Again, Arion looked great in his armor. Love the armor design. We got another shot of Dunk and Sir Lionel at the feast. We got this iconic shot of Egg waiting for Dunk at his campfire, cooking the infamous fish. Again, another scene pulled right out of the books. And just for some reference, I pulled some of the graphic novel images. A lot of these shots have been pulled almost directly off the panel from some of these graphic novel shots. Here we have the graphic novel of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, art by Mike S. Miller. And here we see how it is depicted in the graphic novel. We see Dunk putting Sir Arlen to rest. Very, very faithful, very good adaptation. We got another very interesting one. We saw this scene earlier of Dunk saying, "I could if I wanted," when he's asked to tend to Dunk's horses, which is almost word for word how it is played out in the graphic novel and in the book. I could if I wanted. Again, very faithful adaptations we're seeing here. And here's that one. We got Dunk cooking a little fish at the campfire, waiting for Egg, cooking a fish at the campfire, waiting for Dunk to arrive. Only difference is we got Egg cooking with a pan here, and here we got him cooking over with a stick. Subtle difference, but you get the gist. Very faithful adaptations we're seeing for a lot of these scenes. And that just gives me even more excitement. I am so ready. So ready. Yeah, here we go, folks. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is almost here. We are 30 minutes away. Just 30 minutes away. Love it. And I love some of this art from Gary Gianni as well. Like whenever I read the Dunk and Egg novellas, like whenever I read the books, I usually have Gary Gianni's art like in my head. Like this is my Dunk and my Egg. Like when I'm reading, these are the characters I picture. I picture Dunk with his long hair and the armor. I picture Egg with his straw hat. These are the characters that I picture when I'm reading the books. But seeing Peter Claffey and Dexter Soul Ansel, like they really, really look freaking great. Like yes, Dunk's hair is a little bit shorter, of course, but I don't mind that at all. He still looks and embodies Dunk so well, it seems like from the trailers, from everything, all the dialogue we've seen, the scenes that we have seen in the trailers. He just looks like Dunk. He looks like he embodies Dunk perfectly well. So I don't mind him not having the long hair. It's just great casting. I'm just super excited about this cast. This cast looks so phenomenal. We got the Fossaway cousins here. They're going to be playing some very interesting roles in the show. We got the older cousin here and the younger cousin here, the Fossaways. They'll have some interesting parts here. We have Tanzel, the puppeteer. This is the puppeteer that Dunk is a little smitten with. She'll have a very interesting role. She'll actually have a very important role in the whole conflict of season 1. She'll actually be kind of centered around it in a sense. And you'll see what I mean when we probably get to like episode 2. But yeah, everything just looks so good. We got a shot of the Fossaways kind of sparring, which is again, right out of the novel, right out of the graphic novel, the two of them sparring in the yard when Dunk arrives at the tourney grounds. Everything just looks so great. Everything just looks absolutely phenomenal. And I can't wait. I cannot freaking wait. I am super excited for the show. I can't wait for this scene too. They showed a very small snippet of this scene in one of the behind the scenes feature where it looks like a really good match of tug of war. And I believe on Egg's side, we have Dunk and Sir Lionel back here as well. It's like Egg, Dunk, and Sir Lionel's team, I think, versus Arion's team. So I'm looking forward to seeing this scene. This scene I want to see really bad. I love stuff like this, an old medieval kind of tug of war scene. Hell yeah, bring this on. I really am looking forward to this freaking scene. But yeah, we are just a few minutes away, guys. Just a few minutes away. I know it's a little early to speculate on the second season, but I hope they get the Red Widow cat. It's actually, they've already greenlit it. They have already greenlit season 2, and they are actually filming season 2 right now. HBO isn't playing when it comes to A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, or Ira Parker and George aren't playing, whatever the case is. They're going to be pumping these out every single year. Every year we're going to get a season of this. We're not going to have to wait 2 years in between seasons for Night of the Seven Kingdoms. So yeah, they have already greenlit season 2, and they're already filming season 2 right now. And we'll be getting season 2 next year. Every single year we got a season of this to look forward to. So that's freaking awesome. And again, the casting has looked phenomenal up until this point. So I imagine the new characters that get added to the cast for season 2, when they dive into the mystery night, I imagine they're going to have just as good a casting. They've got phenomenal casting on this show so far. So I imagine season 2 will be just as well. But yeah, definitely an important character. Definitely want to get that one right. You definitely want to get that one right. But yeah, here we are. Are the graphic novels soloists? They cover the full story. They're a little bit abridged. I mean, it is a graphic novel format. So it's the exact same story. I mean, the dialogue is pretty much pulled word for word right from the book, but it's a little abridged in some areas. Obviously, you can't fit the same amount of dialogue in a comic book as you can, in a regular book. There's just not enough room. But it is very, very faithful to the original Dunk and Egg story. Like if you've read the novellas and read the comics, it's the same story, exact same story, just a little bit abridged. Where the graphic novel is concerned, but it's good. I mean, if you're a fan of this series, if you're a fan of the novellas, I would say you'll probably enjoy the comic books, the graphic novels as well. Mike S. Miller did a really good job bringing the characters to life. I love Gary Gianni's art, but I feel that for a comic book, you need a different style of art. You need a comic book artist to do something like that, and that's what they went out and got. They went out and got a comic artist that worked for DC. And, he created a really good rendition of Dunk and Egg, I feel. I like Mike S. Miller's version. I think it looks great. I think it's very faithful to the character. But yeah, if you like the novellas, I would say the graphic novels are definitely worth a read too. They're a fun read. Definitely a fun read. Dunk Belunk, thick as a castle wall. Indeed. Indeed. How I imagine things from the book look a lot how I imagined it before I seen any trailers. Interesting. Awesome. Yeah, it looks great, man. Everything looks really good on this show. I'm super pumped. Again, all of the adaptations, the casting looks right. The dialogue looks right. Everything that I've seen from this show so far looks like it's a really, really good adaptation. And I am all here for it. I am all here for it. Okay. Where were we? I hope Dunk gets many lady friends, give some heated rivalry scenes. Maybe we shall. Maybe we shall. There we go. We are just 25 minutes away now, guys. 25 minutes away now from A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. It is almost here, ladies and gents. It is almost here. And welcome, Grumbledore. Welcome, everybody who's just arrived. Good to see each and every one of you. I'll be doing these pregame shows every single week at the same time, same place, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on the channel, an hour and a half before new episodes air. I'll be going live for these pregame shows. And next week, we're actually going to do a watch party. I'm not able to do it this week, unfortunately. But next week for episode 2, we're going to do the pregame show, and that will lead right into our watch party. And then that will lead right into the after discussion. So next week, we're going to do all 3: pregame show, watch party, and the after discussion. So I look forward to diving into all of that with each and every one of you. And for this, if I don't do an after show tonight for this after I'm done watching it, then I'll be doing a live stream covering episode 1 tomorrow night. If not tonight, definitely tomorrow night I'll be live. One of the two. I'll try and do it tonight if I can, but if not, definitely I'll be doing a live stream tomorrow night covering all things episode 1, and we can dive into it together. And looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say and what you guys thought. But yeah, starting next week, we'll do all 3 wrapped into one: pregame show, watch party, after show next week. We're going to do all 3. But there it is, folks. There it is. We are just less than 25 minutes away. We are 23 minutes away now from A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms hitting our screens. Do you think Egg's brother, future Maester Aemon, will appear? I think he'll have multiple cameos. I mean, I don't know what seasons, but yeah, we'll see Maester Aemon. We will definitely see some Aemon at some point, for sure. I think so. I think we will. Along with Bloodraven. We're going to see a young Bloodraven too, as well. Going to see a lot of characters. This is a very rich time in Westeros history. Not long after the first Blackfire Rebellion, we got where Baelor Breakspear got his name. So this is a very, very interesting time in Westeros history. So we're going to see a lot of really good characters. Yeah, there is, right? There's so much to look forward to during this time period. So much. And then if they can make it all the way through to all of their story and get all the way to Summerhall, that's the ideal destination. Tell the entire story, the entire saga of Dunk and Egg from this first Hedge Knight all the way to the Summerhall storyline. Hopefully they can do that. Again, they'll have to recast Egg at some point for much older, but we'll see. Yes, Jenny of Old Stones. We got some Jenny of Old Stones to look forward to. Yes. Cannot wait to see some Jenny of Old Stones. Love that song. One of the best that was one thing that came out of the final season of Game of Thrones that was really good. As bad as maybe the story ended, the music in the final season of Game of Thrones was phenomenal. Like, Ramin Djawadi remains the undisputed king of A Song of Ice and Fire music. Now, I wish that he was doing the music for this show, but he's not. They didn't go with Ramin Djawadi for this. They went with somebody else, probably because they're going for a different tone. I mean, they're not going for that big, giant, epic scale tone that Ramin Djawadi is a master for. So maybe they wanted someone that just brought a little bit of a different tone. So we're not going to get Ramin Djawadi music, but I imagine the music's going to be just as good, nonetheless. But yeah, that was the one thing that at least came out of the final season of Game of Thrones that was good. Even if the story went off a cliff, the music in season 8 was great. The music was freaking phenomenal. Really good stuff. Yeah, no, me neither. I wouldn't even want pre-screeners if I had the chance, unless it was my job. Hell, it is my job, and I still turn them down. You guys know me. I mean, I get offered early access to to a lot of shows all the time. I could, easily get early access to this or any of the shows that I cover, really. But I don't like to. I don't like getting early access to shows. I love moments like this, the countdown, waiting for the episode to come around, watching it together, everybody kind of, being able to discuss it all at the same time. And I do videos and theory videos. Like, I wouldn't feel right doing theory videos if I'd already seen the episodes. That's kind of, defeats the purpose. So yeah, I never accept pre-screeners. I never accept early access just because I just like watching with everybody else. I think it's just more fun. So I'm not a big fan of early access. I get offered all the time, but I usually always just politely decline because I'd rather watch with everybody else. It's just more fun that way. It's way more fun that way, watching with everybody. But to each their own. There's nothing wrong with early access. If people like getting early access to shows, nothing wrong with that in the slightest. It's just not my style. It's just not my preferred method of watching, I guess. That's just me. I like watching with you guys. I like watching with everybody. I like watching when the entire fandom watches it all at the same time. That's the fun part for me. And then discussing it together. If I were to see these early, I'd be chomping at the fucking bit, dying to talk about it with somebody. I don't think I could handle that. Nope. I'd rather just see it with everybody else and then discuss it with everybody else. But nothing wrong with early access. Just not my preferred method. Yeah, I think Star Wars is the only lore deeper than the lore of this universe. You might be right. Well, the Lord of the Rings, too. Lord of the Rings has really, really deep lore as well. I would say Song of Ice and Fire, Lord of the Rings, and Star Wars. Those are probably the 3 stories that have like the deepest, richest lore. Because Lord of the Rings has some really, really deep and rich lore. Yeah, Lord of the Rings. I love Lord of the Rings. It's so fucking good, man. The lore in Lord of the Rings is so fucking good. It's right there with Game of Thrones, in my opinion. I know a lot of people put Tolkien way ahead of George. I tend to think that they're kind of close to similar in terms of the quality of their fantasy worlds, but that's just my opinion. I love both of these worlds, Song of Ice and Fire and Lord of the Rings. I love them both. But yeah, I think those two and Star Wars are probably the three IPs that have like the deepest, richest lore that you can draw from. So yeah, deep, deep and rich. That's another good one as well, though, Henry Bemis. That's a very good point. 40K, Warhammer 40K has some like crazy, crazy deep lore in it as well. So that's another one that might rival the rest of them. You're totally right. Like Warhammer 40K is massive. It's got so much lore. So that's another one. I would watch it early. I mean, nothing wrong with that. I think most people would. I'm probably in the minority there. Like, I think most people, if they had the chance to, they would probably watch it early. I think most people probably would. Nothing wrong with that. I totally understand. It's like, excited to watch a show. I would want to watch it early, but I don't because I like watching it with everybody else. But I totally get the urge to want to watch it early, nothing else. 20 minutes, as Dragar points out. Yes, we are 20 minutes away. Now we are 16 minutes away. Just 16 minutes away now, guys, from episode 1 of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. We are so close. We are so close, ladies and gents. And I am ready. I am ready.
Oh, my sweet summer child, what do you know about fear? Fear is for the winter, when the snows fall 100 feet deep. Fear is for the long night, when the sun hides for years, and children are born and live and die, all in darkness.
The long night is almost over, ladies and gentlemen. The long night is almost done. We are just 15 minutes away. 15 more minutes until A Night of the Seven Kingdoms is available. This one I would watch early. I already know 35 to 45 minutes weekly isn't enough. I mean, I would love to get more too. Like, don't get me wrong. I would love to have more than just 35 to 45 minutes a week. Definitely would love to have more. But, it's a short story. I think, they can kind of tell this story. That's really all they need. 6 episodes, 35, 45 minutes a piece. They can tell the story in that time. I would love for it to be a little bit longer. Don't get me wrong. Just the fan in me. But yeah, I just like watching it weekly. That's just my preference. But, watching some of the stuff like this early when you know the source material, I suppose it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's just me. Fight hard like Northerners. Yes, indeed. Yeah, it's hard to make it longer without making up crap. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to dilute it. Absolutely not. Definitely, you don't want to dilute it. But yeah, the way I look at it is these are going to be around 35 to 45 minutes long per episode. Now, that is basically the same length as a 1-hour episode on regular television. Now, a lot of people don't realize how much commercial time is in a 1-hour television slot. You look back at all of the shows that came out in regular television that had commercials, most episodes are around 40 to 45 minutes of like actual showtime. The rest is all commercial. So what we're getting right here with A Night of the Seven Kingdoms is basically, the same length that we would get in a 1-hour television on basic cable, just without the commercials. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. 1 hour, 1 hour of television without the commercials, about the same length as what we're getting here. And we'll have 6 of those for 6 straight weeks. Would I love to get more than that? Hell yes, absolutely. But I think that'll be enough to at least do the story justice, I think. And, to know that we're going to be getting seasons every year is another positive. That's another plus. Like, I love that we're going to be getting a season of this every single year. We're not going to have to wait 2 years in between seasons. You get 6 episodes of this every year, or 8 episodes of House of the Dragon every 2.5 years. With this method, you get more TV, I think. With 12 episodes of this every 2 years, as opposed to 8 episodes every 2.5 years. But who knows? Who knows what'll happen? But we got West of Westeros for $1.99. Thank you so much, West of Westeros, for $1.99. Very much appreciate that, my friend. Don't forget to hit that like button. Thank you. Very much appreciate that. And big thanks to everybody who came out tonight and hung out with us for a little bit for the episode 1 pregame show. Again, I'm going to be doing these every single week. I'm so glad Westeros is here. I'm so glad that we are diving back into A Song of Ice and Fire during a very, very rich time period in Westeros history, which is this time period, and some of the richest characters that George has ever written. So I'm super, super pumped, but I just want to give a big thank you to each and every one of you. Big thanks for hanging out with us tonight and killing some time as we wait for episode 1 to load up. And again, I'll be doing this every single week right here on the channel, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, an hour and a half before new episodes go live. I know people are in different time zones, so every single week, an hour and a half or 2 hours before the new episodes come out, I will be live right here on the channel doing some pregame shows as we kill some time while we wait for the new episode to eventually load up. So I will be here next Sunday right here on the channel, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Again, 1 hour and a half before the new episodes air. And episodes will be airing every single week at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 10 p.m. here if you're on the East Coast, 7 p.m. if you're on the West Coast. And if you're in a different time zone outside of the States, if you check your local listings, it'll give you your local time right now. Whatever the equivalent of 10 p.m. Eastern is, wherever everybody else is. That will be when you are getting it, but we're all getting it at the same time. But yeah, that is what we are going to be doing. I will be live next week right here on the channel. We will kick off our pregame show, and that will lead right into our live watch party and then our live discussion afterwards. But again, big thank you to each and every one of you for coming and hanging out this evening. Very much appreciate you all. And a huge thank you to everybody who sent in super chats tonight. West of Westeros, Wolf Spear, Jackson Perez, West of Westeros again. Thank you so much, guys, for the super chats. Very much appreciate it. Big shout out to all the members as well. And we will see you guys on the next one. I need to get working on a Dunkin' Egg intro and outro. That was one thing I didn't have enough time to do. So unfortunately, we're just going to have to use the old House of the Dragon outro. But for next week, I promise I will have a proper Dunkin' Egg intro and outro. But here we go, folks. We are just 10 minutes away from episode 1 airing. And again, after I'm done watching episode 1, if I do have time, I will go live tonight talking about the episode. But if not, definitely I'll be going live tomorrow night talking about the episode, either tonight or tomorrow night. But even if I don't go live tonight, I'll be watching the episode live, and I will be, talking about it either in the Discord or in the live chat as we go on. So if anybody wants to watch along and chat along while you're watching it with me, I'll be in the live chat for the after show. I'll put the link to it here in the chat, so you guys will have that link. Here it is. I will be in this live chat just hanging out watching the episode in 10 minutes from now. This is the after show link. Here it is. Alrighty, guys. Again, big thank you to each and every one of you for coming out and hanging out this evening. Very much appreciate it. Again, we'll be doing this every single week with a pregame show. And again, if I can, I will do a nice after show either tonight or tomorrow night. There is the link to the after show stream. And I will be in there typing along as I'm watching live. Hope to see some of you guys in there. And until next time, stay safe out there, Westeros. Keep those tinfoil hats on, folks, and we will see you on the next one. Cheers.
Fire. And blood. Dreams didn't make us kings. Dragons did.
The threat of war looms.